Hello and welcome to another video on Power BI. In this video, I'll be going through all versus all selected function. This video is meant for people who are new to Power BI, and for that reason, I'll be going through this in a slow and deliberate manner. So first, let's go to the Microsoft documentation and review the syntax. This is what it says. All function return all the rows in a table or the values in a column, ignoring any filters that might have been applied. This function is useful for clearing filters and creating calculation all the rows in a table. So this is what it reads. So at least it's not very clear to me. And it takes two parameter and table and column. Okay, so if I understand it correctly, it removes all the filters that have been applied on a particular column, and then it does the calculation. That's what I understand. Let's go through the other function, all selected. If I read it, removes context filters from columns and rows in the current query while retaining all other context filter or explicit filters. The all selected function gets the context that in all rows and columns. So it's at least it's not very straight for me. So let's quickly go to PBI and see how it works. And again, it takes two parameters here, the table name and the column name. So now let's do one thing. Let's load a sample data into PBI and then see how these two functions differ from one another with an example. So this is a sample data set which I'll be using. So it's very simple. I have the ID ranging from 1 to 10 here and the brand, all the unique brands you can see Apple, Samsung, Oppo, etc. And also the respective sales for each of these brands. So this is just a simple data set which I created for this exercise. And now let's go to the report. And then if you see here, I have the brand in the slicer. So this is a slicer here. And then I have created a simple matrix. So I have the brand to the rows. So now what we can do is try to create different function, two different function, all versus all selected, and then see how these two differ from one another. So before I start, so let me quickly create a new measure. And then let me call this as sum of sales equal to sum of sales. Okay, this is just a sum. I just wanted to see what is the total and then bring it to the values here. And you can see for all these 10 brands, the total sales is 1,800. So now what I can do here is create one more measure. And then let's start with all. Okay. And then let's see sum of sales. Let's start with the all function and then see how does it work or behave is equal to. So all functions should always be combined with other functions. So let's say calculate. So expression. So here I have the expression that is sum of sales. So I can use this, the one which I created now. And then filter. I want to filter the table and the column brand. I want everything to be included, what is coming in this column. And then hit enter. And now let's see. Now let me add this to the values here. And you can, as you can see here, I'm getting 1,800 for all the entries, all the rows. So this is the total, and basically I'm getting the total of all these brands in each and every line. What happens if I select, let's say Samsung? Does it change? No, it doesn't change. I still get the grand total, right? Irrespective of any filters. So it's ignoring any filters applied outside the query or outside the metrics, and still I'm getting the total of all the brands. So this is how the all function behaves. Now let's quickly add another function, and then let's call it as all selected equal to. Again, I need to use calculate function. Expression is, I already calculated sum of sales. I'll be using it. Filter, here I'll be using all selected instead of all. And the column name is brand. And then let's see what we get as a total. Now, if I bring this to the values here, I still get the 1800, the same values, but see the difference here. So now if I select 3 products here, this total, right, the values for each row, it's changing. Basically, it's applying a filter for the slicer. So if I select 3 products here or the brands here, I'm getting the sum of only those brands. You can see Apple has 100, Honor 200, and LG 150. So the total is 450. So I'm getting only the what is selected, and maybe that's the reason it's named as all selected. Okay, so that's the main difference between all versus all selected. Okay, so that's how it behaves. So let me quickly change this name to so that it's easy to understand. Sum of sales. Okay, so this is better. Okay, all versus all selected sum of sales. And now if someone wants to use to calculate the percentages, right? So if someone wants to see the percentage, let's say percentage of all equal to sum of sales divided by all. Hit enter. So now you can see the difference. Oops. I need to bring this to the values here. Change this to percentage. So this accounts for only 5% of your total sales. That's what it means. So now let me add one more measure and then call it as percentage of selected. Percentage of all selected equal to all selected divided by, I'm sorry, it should be the other way. Sum of sales divided by all selected sales. And bring this here. And change this as a percentage. So you can see here the difference. So this percentage of all, it takes into account all the total. So 1800 will be the denominator. But in this case, percentage of all selected, it takes the sum of only these 3 brands as a denominator. And that's the reason it always remains 100. So if I add Nokia, this values will be changed. It's relative. So that's the main difference between all versus all selected function in Power BI. Hope it was clear, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.